All right, hello everybody. Welcome back. We have another VOD review. This is a Bronze 3 cap. My friend says his teammates are holding him back and that he deserves diamond. Oh boy. My friend always complains about how he is only stuck in bronze because of his teammates. I would love for an educational video to open his eyes to macro play. All right. So, before we get started, yeah, it's definitely not true. You're in bronze. People are at the rank they deserve. In this game, I actually just made a video about it. People are actually boosted in this game. Most people are too high. There are some cases where like bronze can be pretty tough and you have to play a little bit different, bronze and silver. But for the most part, yeah, it's not really a thing. So let's learn. Let's go about this educational, see what we can do better. Already, I don't like that we have our shield up. If we have our shield up, we're going to be taking unnecessarily damage. You want to use your shield to get out or to block something specific. I like that we didn't go in. Good. We waited for our team. That's fine. Okay. Okay. I cannot believe you lived that. Okay. All right. So, let's go over some big concepts real quick, all right? So, let's see. How are we going to do this? Let me try to think about how this could have gone better. So let me start by this. Cap is one of the most difficult tanks to get value on. It's gonna be really, really hard. Okay. The way that you get value is twofold. Number one is by actually getting a kill on a squishy, and number two is by being an annoyance in the backline, which allows your team to push up, right? Now, we're in silver and bronze. We're in bronze, right? And so that's why I said at the beginning that you have to play a little bit differently in these ranks, because that second strategy of annoying the enemy backline, getting them to look at you so your team can walk forward, that's really not going to work, because these idiots are also in bronze and they're not going to be able to take advantage of the space that you're making. However, because we're in bronze and silver, that means we're playing against bronze and silver backlines of the enemy team, right? So these people are going to be a lot easier to actually kill. They're not going to be able to effectively get away from you and stuff like that. So right now, we really want to lean into your ability to run in and get kills and just survive forever in the backline. So what should that look like? Normally I don't jump into the practice range, but with Cap is one of the characters that like you have to know these things. You have to know the tech, you have to be able to do it, or you're not going to be able to do anything. So you got to think of Cap as or pretty much most characters in this game, you got to think of it as like a cooldown cycle, right? So when you use an ability, like if I use my shield throw, it has a 5-second cooldown, right? And so you want to rotate your cooldowns to where you have the best chance of both living and doing damage as possible. So what does that look like on Cap? On Cap, like what you did, you went to the side, you got to the high ground, right? That was all great. And then you want to find a target. So you don't just want to jump in. You want to find a target and say like, all right, there's their support. Now I'm going to jump in and I'm going to use my diving strike. I call it the shield slam because you slam the ground. Okay. So you engage with the shield strike. Okay, now you're here. Now you want to do some damage, right? The best way to do that is by animation canceling. Just like, that's not the upper one. It looks like this. Then, once you get some damage, and you either start taking damage, so you look at your health bar. If your health bar is going down, you have to do less damage. If your health bar is not going down, just sit here and do damage all day, right? But if you're on this side and you're doing damage, like that's fine to take that much damage. But if once your health bar gets to like half, then we have to jump up and use the shield bash which for me is right click, that one. I think, what is it actually called? Your Liberty Rush. You use that to jump up and get out. You do have to be careful that you don't use it on the ground, because if you use it on the ground, you're like, oh man, I gotta get out. That didn't really get me anywhere because I got stuck on the enemy team, right? So let's go fast motion now, okay? So I come in. I'm not going to go in with half health. I need to go in with full health, right? I'm going to hit, do some damage, jump up, do some extra damage, and then get out. And that's how it goes. And it should be quick and ready to go, okay? So with that in mind, that is kind of your gameplay loop. You dive in. So you're running around, you get to a good spot, you see a target, you jump in, you either kill them or you do a bunch of damage, get out, and then you cycle that back. That's the basic idea of it. That's your cooldown, your slam cycle, that's what's going on. Now, let's jump back into the game and see what that would look like in your actual scenario. Let's jump over here. I think this is already too far, right? So right here, we already used our slam, which is not good. We already took some damage, not good. But we still have a decent position, all right? So we see there's 3 people over here. So we're probably not going to dive them. And then we hear a rocket shooting. And then since we're in the replay viewer, we know it's here. But what I would do here is I would actually jump and look around. And just be like, all right, not here. Where's the rocket? And then you would see, okay, there's a rocket. Now I'm going to slam down. I'm going to do some damage to the rocket. He's probably going to shift away. I'll do some more damage to him here. Then if the mag starts doing damage to me and these people peel, I'm going to say, okay, there's a health pack here. I'm going to run this way. I'm going to use my shield if they're coming after me. I'm going to dash here. I'm going to get another health pack. If they're still chasing me, that's great because that means my team can walk forward. And if they're not, I'm just going to get the health pack, go back up here and do it again. But instead of doing any of those, we just kind of dive in. Use our one cooldown that we have to save to get out. We use that here into a wall. We already started without our slam, so we can't use that. We're not able to like really do damage because we're attacking 3 people. That's not great. Plus, there's a Punisher behind us. Is that right? No, there's an Elsa behind us who does a ton of damage to tanks. So we don't see that. And then the last problem with over here is we need to look at line of sight of our supports, right? This is again something that comes into play later. Like, so if you actually are in diamond, you still would have died here. Because, let's just look at this, right? So this is, let me draw it. We can show you. All right, so we're right here. Our supports are here and here. And then there's walls. We have a wall here. There's a wall that goes to about here. And then there's a wall over here-ish, right? So if you look at line of sight, they can see something like this, okay? However, this is all blocked off, right? So their line of sight goes in about here. And then it cuts off here, I would say. So it's something like this. So all of these green areas, if we were to color it in, this is the area that if you stand in, a diamond level support would be able to heal you, okay? This is all area that you can get healed. Any area outside of this, because it's covered up, right? This is all areas that you're not going to get any healing. This is probably a bit egregious. It's more like this, if I had to guess, right? So these are no-go areas, right? If you step out of line of sight over here, you have to understand that you're no longer going to get healing, okay? So if we go look at you right now, if you can't see your supports, which you can't because they're behind a wall, they can't heal you. It doesn't matter how good the support is, how good their aim is, they can't hit you through a wall, right? If we look at your supports, let's just say this White Fox is not in melee form. See, they can't heal you. There's no chance they can actually heal you. So when you dive, when you do your slam cycle, when you do things like that, we have to take into account target priority. We have to take into account where our line of sight of our supports are. We have to take into account like do we have our cooldowns? Can we get out? Where are the health packs? Things like that. If we're not paying attention to all of those things, then it's really easy to just blame our team which is not something we can do. So I kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's go into it now. Let's look at our health bar differently. Our health bar is a tool. It tells us what we can and can't do, right? So right now we have full health. We actually engage with our shield slam, which I love. This is great. We immediately do a shield throw, which I don't like, but we can get into combos and stuff like that later. But if you look at our health bar during this fight, it's not going down. And our shield health bar isn't going down either. We're not taking any damage. So what that should tell us is that says, I can be aggressive, right? If we go in here, it's like, I can be aggressive. They're not hitting me at all. I'm going to go do damage. I'm going to get my animation combos down. My animation cancels. I'm going to pick the person who has the least health here, and I'm going to bully them until my health goes down. So this whole time, I would just be bullying. You're still not taking damage, just bully. Pick a support and get to it. There you go. All right. And look at your health. You're still fine. You're still fine. And look, it went back up. So I was saying you're still fine, but you're trying to back out now because you're afraid. But it's barely going down. And then it starts going back up. Like, this is great. But instead of being aggressive, now we back out. This is not good. Now you want to press the advantage. Okay. So I'd still be in there. Doing fine. Look at your health. Not going down at all. Now it's going down a little bit, but you still have time because you still have a shield. You still have movement. And now your team is here. Keep going. Good. That's fine. Okay, so now the situation's changed. I actually don't mind this. We slam down, right? We're doing good damage. And now look at our health. It got to half and it's not going back up. Now we need to get out. And look, we still have our shield bash. So here I would jump and I would shield bash directly this way. We don't listen to that. Now it's too late. And that's all it takes, right? So you have to really pay attention to your health bar as a tool, understanding that it's giving you valuable information. Didn't they patch the cancel? Kind of. So I guess since we're talking about animation cancel, we can go over it real quick. There are tons of tutorials. I'll do a very quick one. Basically, there's two different ways, and I'm on PC, so this will be slightly different. But the first thing you need to go to settings. You need to go to, I guess, controller. Change it to cap, and then change this hold to dash. Make sure that's off, so it's toggle. So if it's on toggle, all I have to do is press shift once, and then whatever the button is for controller. You press it once, and now no matter what I'm doing, I'm sprinting. Okay? Make sure that's on. The second thing is you need to have two different buttons. You need to have one button for your primary fire, which is where you do a little shield throw. And then the second button for a quick melee. You need to be able to do both, right? So the way I have it is I have my quick melee set, and then all you have to do is hold forward. So you see I'm holding forward to sprint, and then I'm pressing my quick attack button, right? And if you look at the little shield icons right beneath the numbers, you see they're not going down because I'm not throwing the shield. If you press this, you can still animation cancel really fast. Now, if you use your primary fire button, now it's going to look like this. And you see how it's a little bit slower? So there's different use cases. You have to be able to use both, okay? So if you go in and you just do the quick melee, that's great. Then you can jump and you can throw the shield. You see how I switch it up? And this will give you maximum movement and maximum damage, and you're going to take the least amount of damage by doing this. So you combine all that together, it looks great. And once you're at a really high level, then you can understand that I'm going to come in And like, if I'm not taking damage, I'm just gonna keep beating away. They start looking at me and I'm taking damage. Now I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna throw. Oh, they looked away again? Now I'm gonna go back to this. And you mix it up. Right? And so that's how it works. So now let's look at one more really important tech to have. This is like the reverse shield sprint. So if the enemy team is right here, right? The enemy team is this way. My team is over there, and I need to run away. I'm going to bring up my shield. I'm going to look towards my team. I'm going to run, and then I'm going to turn around. I'm going to run, and I'm going to turn around. So this gives you the full speed of your sprint, and you can jump. And because I'm looking back at the enemy team, I'm blocking stuff with my shield. The way you do this is you have your shield up, and then right before you jump, you have to be pressing forward towards the direction that you want to go. So for us, it's the direction of our team. You press forward and you jump, and then once you're in the air, you turn around to look back at the enemy team, and you hold backwards, right? So right here, I'm pressing W, and now I'm pressing S. On controller, I'm holding forward. Now I'm holding backwards. I'm holding forward. Now I'm holding backwards. Holding forward. Now I'm holding backwards. So what this allows you to do is, like, I'm in there. I'm doing damage. And then, oh, no, I'm retreating. I need to take damage. Now I can retreat at full speed while taking less damage. Okay? So those are all the techs that you need in order to make Cap valuable, pretty much. That should be everything. There's tons of other stuff you can do. That should be enough to get you like started. Practice those, get good at them. You'll realize like, man, this is going really well. So let's go back to here. This is just paying attention to our health bar, right? We went a little bit far. Okay, your health bar isn't going up. You can't engage. So that would have been... Okay, that's an ult. You gotta be careful though. I don't mind that ult. There's worse ults. You can go to ults another day. Point. Move on. Go get health. We won the 1v1. Go get health. So once again, we used both of our movement abilities just to get in. You never want to do this. Nice. Okay. So I'm trying to... This is something you definitely don't want to do. At higher elos, like if you do this in a diamond lobby, you have to realize you're not going to be able to kill anything, right? Because they have a support ult going on. They have two supports right next to each other. And then the other thing that's really important is they have a damage boost. You're behind enemy lines right now. You have no support. Nobody's going to heal you. You dive into a shield. So even if they were close, now your healing can't get to you. And all of these people have damage boost. Like, they will melt you instantly for doing this. We definitely don't want to do that. This is not great. Now they have another support ult going on. So here, I would just get out. There's no reason to really do anything. Like, we can't get any space. Okay. Okay, we'll use our get out cooldown in order to do damage. Okay. Okay, here's a macro concept that we haven't really talked about yet, and that's target priority. Okay, so Captain America can do a lot less damage, especially if you don't know the animation cancels and aren't good at hitting it. He can do a lot less damage by default than a character like Hulk or Mag or Strange or Emma specifically, right? He can do a lot less damage, right? So you have to be good with your damage and pick the right targets. Because if we look at Deadpool here, Tank Pool, he has 500 health. He has a shield. He can heal himself because he has self-healing. He can get bonus health. If we look at Magneto, Magneto has 650 health. He can get bonus health. He has a shield and he has a bubble, right? So he has a lot of tools to survive. Now, if we look at Cloak and Dagger, she only has 275. So if you do 150 damage to Magneto, his health bar is going to be like here. It's like not enough to really notice anything. If you do 150 damage to Cloak, the health bar is going to be like here. They're going to be panicking. So we have to pick the right targets to where the damage that we're doing is actually going to be helping. If we look at here, there's a concept of like squishies. A squishy is anybody with less health who's easier to hit. They're squishier versus like a hardened target, right? So this is a squishy, this is a squishy, this is a squishy. Right here, your max value would actually be to attack the rocket. But we're nowhere near that. We're kind of just in our backline attacking whatever we can. So again, we see the rocket. We see the rocket, not going to do anything. We see a respawn beacon, and then we don't actually go after it. This is another like high value target where it's like, if you break this respawn beacon, that's essentially getting a kill. Again, there's no reason to back up. We have full health. Go in. Okay, we're attacking Mag. Now there's a Cloak and Dagger. And we're ulting. Cloak and Dagger. Kill the Cloak. Almost. Nope. And we lose sight. So in a team fight like this, it's really easy to get lost. The best thing that I can tell you to do is try to build the skill of tracking one person through a team fight. It's a very useful skill. So when you're first starting, just pick somebody, the first person you see, usually it's a tank, and just stick with them. And get really good at not only following them, so you're following them with movement, you're following them with your camera, so if they move around, you can move around with them, and you're doing damage the whole time. If you get really good at that skill, it's going to help you so much, because kind of similar to what we talked about earlier, right? If you spread your damage... Because let's look back. Let's look back at all the people you attacked during this fight. So we do like 50 damage to Mag, right? And then we do like 25 damage to Cloak. And then we do more damage to Mag. And then now we did some damage to BP. Now we're doing damage to Tank Pool. And then now we're back to doing damage to the supports, but not the Cloak. Now we're on the rocket, right? So we probably did like, I don't know. We'll just throw a number out there. Let's say we did 500 damage. If you do 500 damage to 5 different people, it really doesn't amount to much. It's also over a period of time, so it's very easy to heal. Versus if you do 500 damage in a row to a rocket, that's twice his health. And so even if he got healing, it would have had to have been 250, 270 plus healing in order to keep him alive. So that's why being able to attack just one person is super useful. So focus on that skill, attack just one person, keep at it. Once you can track somebody through a fight, you can keep up with them, then we can start incorporating the target priority that we talked about earlier and picking the right person to attack. But there we go. Look how much more effective. So much better. Now the damage that you're doing, even though it's like not as good because mechanically we're not quite there yet, it still is it's doing so much value for your team. No, don't run back. No. Okay. There we go. That's a long review. This is gonna take a while. All right, so another benefit. Remember when we were in the practice range and I told you about quick melee versus primary fire? This is a great example of why you need both, because your quick melee, it's a melee attack, which means it goes through shields. Your primary fire, when you do the shield throw, is not. It's a projectile, which means it doesn't go through shields. This Strange only has 12 health. If you quick melee him here, he just dies. But instead, we don't. We use our shield throw, and he has a chance to live. Granted, his team is just as bad, so. Tracking someone in a team fight could be tricky, though, depending on who. If a C&D blinds you and fades away, it could be hard to track. Right, that's part of, like, building up the skill set of doing it. It's not going to be easy, but that's what you need to be able to do. Absolutely. Yep, break it. Nice. They portaled for some reason. That's really good for your team, because now they don't have a portal. Nice! That's the best use of your shield throw that you've had. A lot of the times it feels like we're just throwing our shield throw because it is. Because, like, we have it. One of the best things you can do is use it at the end of a fight to secure a kill. He's on the way out, you throw it, it hits him no matter what, and he dies. The other way you can do it is when you jump. You're about to engage, right? So you're jumping and you're looking to use your shield slam. Right before you activate the shield slam to go to the ground, if you throw the shield out first and then do it, it animation cancels everything, so you get the damage out. Then you slam down and the cooldown's already started, and then when you're on your way out, you can do it again. Same, Churro. Same. It's good. Good skill. Bronze. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about who has advantage and who has a disadvantage in this scenario. This is one of the most important things in this game that people like just don't understand. And it bleeds into like why staggers happen. So I'm sure if you're in bronze, you understand like a stagger. My teammate just dribbled in one at a time, and then we never had a big team fight. There's a huge misconception of like that's why staggers happen, is because my teammate's just an idiot and they walked in when it was 1v6, when that's almost never the case. This right here is actually why staggers happen. Okay, it's not understanding that your team is at a giant disadvantage right now. The enemy team has 6 people, all okay, maybe 5. We have 5 people, all engaged in the fight, ready to go. Okay, your team just had 2 people die. So this is a 5v4. In this scenario, a 5v4 is a death sentence. You need to back up and give time for your team to respawn, especially because this person who's out of the fight, they're going to be back soon, most likely. So instead of realizing that, what a high-level player would do here is be like, okay, we just lost 2. We don't really have the ability to hold space anymore. I'm just going to back up. I'm going to go back to here probably, and I'm going to poke a little bit, and I'm going to wait for my other 2 people to respawn. Once they're here, then we can regroup and fight. But instead, what's going to happen is we're going to hang around on a fight that's already lost, and we're going to wait until our team is almost back. Then we're going to die, and you're going to see what's going to happen, right? So check out our team. They've respawned now. They're using their cooldowns to get out. Now they have some stuff going on. Now, we're lucky because we're in bronze, because these people are terrible. If this person was anything other than bronze and ults right here, he's going to kill this white fox immediately. And just, you'll be fine, right? So results may vary in bronze, but essentially we fought a whole fight 4v6. Okay, now we have a team fight going. We have a support ult, so we're going to go be aggressive. I'm going to go find the proper target, right? We're not going to chase a strange around. There we go. Good. Kill a squishy. Just kill her. Nice. Yeah, we're using our cooldowns really bad. There's a rocket. Find the rocket. Okay, rocket's dead. All right. Wow, you guys actually got that. That's hilarious. All right. Let's talk about the line here. So, there is a concept that's very important when you're playing tank, and this is any tank. And it's a concept of the line, okay? So, basically, there's an imaginary line on different parts of the map, and you draw it depending on where your team is, where the enemy team is, where the payload is, what cooldowns you have, what cooldowns the enemy team has, what team composition, all this stuff. So it takes a while to get used to it, but the basic idea is there's an imaginary line that tanks cross, that if they cross that line, they will die. Okay? So let me give you a very concrete example. Most of the time, the line on this map is right here. Okay? It's this line right here. If a tank crosses this, they're going to die. Why is that the case? Let's imagine they have a Groot here and a Bucky here. And then you playing, I don't know, we'll say Emma. Let's say an Emma walks right here. Now the Bucky is going to grab the Emma, hook her over to here, push her around the corner. The Groot is going to put up walls here, here, and here. And now this Emma is completely cut off from the whole enemy team. There's 0% chance any of the teammates can actually help with healing because they're out of line of sight, and this Emma is dead. Now the whole enemy team is going to turn around, collapse on the Emma. Emma's dead, and they can turn. Now it's a 5v6, and they can push forward. So that's why the concept of the line is important. Now let's look at where you are. We have you right outside the enemy spawn door. Okay? This is not going to work in Diamond. You're just going to die. If you get away with it in Bronze, go for it, but just know, like, you're not going to get away with it for long. Yes. Definitely map dependent. Once again, we cut ourselves off from our support, so even if they wanted to heal us and had the capability to aim and hit us, they can't. Look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing to your cloak. Enemy cloak. Look at what you're doing to your cloak, okay? Your cloak sees... Oh, Captain America's half health. Can't heal him. He's behind the wall. Oh, there he is. Now I can heal him. I'm going to try to heal him. Oh, he ran the other way. Now I'm going to try to heal him again. You're literally juking your supports. I feel like it depends a bit on the tank, though, right? Yes. So when we talk about the line position that you draw is different depending on all those factors, including what tank you're playing. So Captain America, so this line is pretty hard. For main tanks, the line would be back to like here-ish. It would be something like this. I wouldn't cross here. For Captain America, he can go over to here. Hulk over to here, something like that. Venom can probably go a bit farther, maybe, just depends. But yeah, it's different depending on what tank you play. Most of the main tanks share one. Yeah, Theirs is very similar. Most of the dive tanks share one as well. So this, we have no respect for our health bar. Our health bar is going down. It's not coming back up. We need to bring our shield up. We need to jump, and we need to slam back to our team in line of sight. Thor, okay. So I think we're gonna stop the review there. This is a really long game, and we're already like 35 minutes into this video. So I'm gonna call it there, and let's recap a little. We went over a lot of concepts, okay? We talked about line of sight for our supports. We talked about the line, the concept. We talked about cooldown rotations, how to get maximum uptime. We talked about damage. We talked about focusing one target. You know, pick one target in the middle of a team fight. We talked about not spreading out our damage and only putting it to one. We talked about how to get enemy supports to stop healing and like different methods you could use, things like that. So I think those are a lot, like those concepts, if you focus on those, you'll get a lot done. So for when you're playing Cap specifically, I would work on your animation cancels and then understand your cooldown rotations in order to get in and out. And then keep in mind the line of sight while you're actually playing. That's going to be your highest value. And then the last thing for sure is be able to track one person through a team fight. If you work on those things, you'll easily get from bronze up to like gold, maybe even plat. Then once you hit like gold or plat, and then you start running into more problems, then we can really go in deeper and start understanding like the wider aspects of like the line and teamwork and different look at me strategies and other things that you can do. So anyway, I hope this helps. I know this was not the whole VOD. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Anyway, take care. God bless. Catch you guys next time. Bye.